A very good morning to all of you. I, on the behalf of Think India, would like to welcome you all to the Think India Law Summit 2019. First of all, I would like to thank you all for coming up in such large number and taking out time for the Law Summit 2019. I'm also happy to share that we have received around 1,000 registration for the Law Summit, and during this festive season also. And out of these, due to a logistical constraint, we could only accept around 300 to 500 application for the summit. As Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, humans are mortal, so are the ideas. An idea needs propagation as much as plant needs watering. Otherwise, both will wither away. Think India comes up with avenues like Law Summit to propagate the ideas for furthering our aim of national reconstruction. We are honored to have with us our chief guest, Honorable Justice Narasimha Reddy, sir. Now I request Anushka, student from NLU Lucknow, to welcome sir. Sir, please come on the stage. I request all the guests to please come on stage. Now I request Anushka, student from NLU Lucknow, to welcome Narasimha Reddy sir. We also have amongst us Additional Solicitor General of India, Advocate Vikramjit Banerjee. I request Riya from student of NLU Jodhpur to welcome sir. We have amongst us Shri Sunil Ambekar ji. I request Sonali, from student of NLU Sonipat, to welcome Sunil ji. Sunil ji is National Organizing Secretary of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. We have with us Deputy Director of Nehru Memorial Library and Museum, Dr. Ravi K. Mishra. I request Aniket from MIT Noida to welcome sir. We have with us Mr. Shaurya Rai, State Convener of Think India Delhi. I request Shubham Mahajan from NLU Shimla to welcome sir. I now request all the dignitaries to open this summit with the lighting of the lamp. I would now like to introduce our panel, Mr. Shaurya Rai. Mr. Shaurya Rai has a degree in computer science. He is a law graduate from Campus Law Center, University of Delhi, and currently works as a law clerk at the Supreme Court of India. He is also a state convener of Think India Delhi. Now I would like to request sir.
Thank you, Shivam. I'd like to start by talking about Think India. So Think India was established as a connection between students of premier institutes to discuss ideas and opportunities. What Think India does today comprises of two main avenues. One are the events such as these that we organize, and the second are the internships and other forms of opportunities that we provide students and professionals alike. In the past year, we've organized a few yearly events that we have been in the last 5 to 6 years organizing every year. A few of those I'd like to list. We organized Jagruti at the IISc Bangalore campus. We organized Samvad in Ahmedabad. We organized the Chandigarh Dialogues. We organized the landmark cases, which have been yearly events for the last 3 years. We organized Avahan at the Delhi IIT campus. We organized the Think India East Summit in Kolkata. And recently we've organized the All India National Institute of Technology Summit at NIT Surat, along with other events that we have been over the past few years. Our internships have been offered to over 2,000 individuals over the last 3 to 4 years. A few of the internships that we organize every year are one, Vidhi, which is our most famous program, where we assign law students with practitioners both in the corporate and the litigating sectors, which is our legal internship. We have another legal internship, which is the Vidhi International Law Commission internship, with the Honorable Member Aniruddha Rajput at the International Law Commission. Students have gone to New York and Geneva for both of their summer sessions. We organized the Anubhuti, which is the social internship program. We organized Niti, which is the public policy internship program. Sansadiya, which was started last year, is our parliamentary program, which is one of a kind, where we assign each and every student that comes to us to a member of parliament. This year we assigned 40 such students to different member of parliaments in the lower house. The Samvad internship is our journalism internship, and Shuruat is our startup internship, where we assign students to different startups depending on their fields of study. We've held law summits such as these before in 2012 and 16. This year, the law summit specifically focuses on recent developments in law and legal studies and what challenges and opportunities lie ahead. Some of the topics that we'll be discussing in the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, will be what are the startups in law, specifically startups in India that cater to the legal field, and what are the developments that we can currently talk about in the startup field in law. What are the legal education reforms that have been carried out and what need to be carried out so that legal education becomes better for the future. Emerging areas in law, whether it be law and technology, whether it be law and policy, or what are the new avenues in litigation. We talk a lot about arbitration, but how can that benefit a law student is what we'll discuss in the coming sessions. There's a session on the role of women in the making of the Constitution and how that role has not been significantly put to the fray till now. And we've also had a session on, we're also organizing a session on international law and India, and how India's current status in the international arena is influencing international law. I think with those words, I'd like to call on Shivam to move on with the ceremony. And I welcome all of you again. Thank you so much for taking out your time.
Now I would like to request Mr. Ravi Mishra sir, Deputy Director of Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, to give his welcome address.
Thank you. On behalf of Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, and on behalf of Think India, as well. I welcome you all this morning to this very interesting and important Law Summit 2019. We have with us our Honorable Chief Guest today, Justice Narasimha Reddy of the Central Administrative Tribunal. We have with us Shri Vikramjit Banerjee, Senior Advocate and Additional Solicitor General, Government of India, as our distinguished guest. We have respected Shri Sunil Ambekar as the other distinguished guest, who is author, thinker, and National Organizing Secretary of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. And we just heard Shaurya briefing us about the conference. I particularly welcome the entire distinguished panel on behalf of NMML. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to receive you all, sirs, here on this important occasion. I just heard about the nature of the conference and the topics that are being discussed, and that really delighted me. I have taught history at a law school, so I can see the importance of the topics that have been described here. I'm really delighted that we are doing this conference with Think India, and let me tell you a bit about what the Nehru Memorial does, because there may be a perception within the lawyer community that Nehru Memorial is not the place for them. I want to remove this misperception, as I would say. Nehru Memorial has a collection of about 300,000 books dealing with the history of the last 200 years of India. But these books are not history books in a narrow sense, history in every sense, including the history of law, and society, culture, everything. So I'm sure that in case you are interested and you are doing some interdisciplinary sort of research, not a purely legal research, then this is certainly the place for you. Of course, we are not a public library, it is a research library, so it is meant only for researchers. But off and on, if there is some young student who has not yet become a researcher but shows the promise, we never refuse to give membership to such a person. So we are very, very open in that sense. And our record of oral history transcripts is very, very rich. We have more than 1,000 transcripts of the important personalities of modern India. They have been interviewed by our oral history division, and the interviews have been turned into transcripts which are preserved in our oral history division. By going through those, and some of them are very, very distinguished lawyers, advocate generals, and solicitor generals, attorney generals, etc. So you can get a lot of information from those sources regarding the history of law in 20th century India. So that's a valuable source. And then the third valuable source that we have is our manuscript section, where we have the private papers of more than 1,000 important personalities of modern India. These are, you name anybody, India's who is who, their papers are here at Nehru Memorial. So as you progress, you can certainly approach this institution for doing archival research, and you can find the papers of all kinds of people there, including those of famous lawyers, former justices, and so on and so forth. And apart from this, we have the newspaper records of the last 250 years here. We have the newspaper records of the earliest modern newspapers published from India as well. They are in microfilm form. So a bit difficult to read, of course, it takes time, but they are there. So let me assure you that Nehru Memorial is an institution which can be very, very useful for your research and for your further studies. And you are always welcome here. With these words, I welcome everyone to this important law summit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Our first speaker of this session is Senior Advocate Vikramjit Banerjee. Mr. Vikramjit Banerjee is a senior advocate and is currently serving as Additional Solicitor General of India. He has previously served as Advocate General of State of Nagaland. Mr. Banerjee is a NLSIU Bangalore graduate and is also the first NLU graduate to make it to the coveted post of Additional Solicitor General. I now request Sir to please address the gathering.
Thank you. Honorable Justice Reddy, Professor Mishra, Sunilji Ambekar, Shaurya, it's a pleasure and honor to be at the Think India Law Summit 2019, and especially speaking at the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library. I have spent, and this is not an advertisement, I have spent some wonderful time going through the material which is available in the library, and I can assure that the material which is present is completely and absolutely unparalleled. And it has vignettes of information which boggles one's mind whenever anyone looks at it. As for my interaction with Think India, I think I go back a long way. Ganeshji, Rahul once came to my chamber a few years back, and then they had this wonderful idea of putting Think India into some shape and form. It's such a pleasure to be here and to see that the form which was envisaged and which was a figment in people's mind has come to take such a fantastic concrete shape involving all of us. So it's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor to be here, and thank you. Coming to my short address, and I'll try to keep it short, and I think what I want to speak on is, since it's a Law Summit 2019, and since this is the inauguration session, I would like to speak of what is expected of us as lawyers. I think this is a Law Summit, all of us are going to be lawyers. So what are the good things? What are the bad things? Why people look up to lawyers? Why people are skeptical of lawyers? And I think it's very important when we are all going to become lawyers, and which we are all going to become soon. How do we think about it? I think, why are lawyers looked up in society? That's very important. Lawyers are looked up largely in society because of two things, and all of us who work, who exist as parts of the wider society that we are in, always perceive lawyers are looked up for being leaders. So whenever there's a problem, lawyers are the people who are looked for leadership. And two, lawyers are looked up for being spokesperson in society for causes, for issues, for problems. They're also looked up for providing solutions in society. So these are the broad three things which the lawyers are looked up to. Now, as a result of this, some of our most prominent leaders have been lawyers. Now, whether, all of us being lawyers know the history and know the fantastic and the great people who've been lawyers, but I'll just recollect for you. Of course, the entire independence movement was filled with lawyers, and great, wonderful, brilliant lawyers. There was this very famous interaction, I think, when Lord Mountbatten, speaking about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who was a civil servant, who had gone and studied as a civil servant for his ICS and come back, said the problem with Subhash is surrounded by too many barristers. To show that, the barristers are people who knew the system very well and who could operate very flexibly within the system. So he was indicating that in certain cases, Netaji was possibly a little bit more rigid. But the fact is that there is no doubt about that our entire freedom movement was led by lawyers from various different angles, whether it be Mahatma Gandhi, whether it be Muhammad Ali Jinnah, whether it be Sardar Patel, whether it be Baba Sahib Ambedkar, whether it be even Shyam Prasad Mukherjee, they were all lawyers. And they were lawyers because lawyers exactly were the people who could solve problems, who would give leadership, and who could be spokespersons. Now, this is not unusual in India. All of us know that even Nelson Mandela was a lawyer. So the fact of the matter is that whenever, all over the world, either politicians or leaders have been lawyers. So that's a great thing, to be part of that heritage is a fantastic thing to be. Now, I'll come to the controversial part. Why are lawyers looked down upon? Now, that's something which what is the perception which people have? Lawyers are looked down upon because they're not there, because they're looked upon as argumentative. As again, Lord Mountbatten said about Muhammad Ali Jinnah, very famously, Jinnah is a man who has a problem for every solution. So I think lawyers are perceived in many ways like that. So lawyers are also looked upon as crooked. We go through that. If we shut our eyes towards that, then we are fooling ourselves. In fact, lawyers are in some ways looked upon as parasites to the society, preying upon people's problems to get ahead, whether it be on wealth, whether it be in life. So much so, there's a famous line in Shakespeare. I don't know whether you've heard. Richard II is made king of England, and then in the play Richard II, he says, first thing, what is on your agenda? So Richard II says, first, kill all the lawyers. So, that's the impression which people have. But the fact of the matter is, we've seen it, and why only go to Richard II and Shakespeare? You look at Jolly LLB. That's true. Jolly LLB comes from a context. Jolly LLB 1, Jolly LLB 2. I think maybe it's exaggerated, but it's true. And you look at any Bollywood movies aside, of course, I think Damini was a wonderful role by Sunny Deol, but otherwise, the picture which people paint of lawyers, including the one with Amrish Puri, I forget that one, which is not very pretty. And it's precisely for those reasons. Now, I think, and I will come to it at the end of what I think is why it depends upon us. I think we all exist in a society, and it would be wrong for me to give gyan and to tell you that, we should be in charge of changing the impression which people have of lawyers. That would be stupid, because the good and evil exists within us. I completely believe that. So people are not good, people are not evil. It's just which side you put forward towards the world and towards your profession. That's what's most important. Now, one thing I should mark, and I very importantly mark here, is, there is a lot of discussion when we especially go to these wonderful law schools that lawyers are supposed to be social engineers. I went to the National Law School where Professor Menon would start off his day by saying, you are going to be social engineers. You are going to be social engineers. I'm very skeptical of that. At the age of 46, I think the worst thing, that's not a good idea. You need not be social engineers. I think social engineering puts too much of a burden upon you, and two, it makes you completely pretentious. You start walking on air, you start being entitled, you think that the world, and the burden of changing the world depends on you. Believe me, it doesn't. You should change yourself, that's very important. Not try to change the world. Who cares? That is something which you will realize as you grow older. Two, that's what I feel. I think lawyers should be good lawyers. Lawyers should do their job well. If your client comes to you, do your job well. Don't cut corners. It's very easy as a lawyer, and I can assure you that, is to cut corners because your client never looks at what you're doing. And Justice Reddy is a very tough, he knows the brief most of the time. So, but there are a lot of judges who possibly are not aware of all the papers, so you can get away with whatever you say. People trust you, because the judge trusts you, you can get away with it. So, but how much you work, what you put in, is up to you. And therefore, you are responsible for yourself. That's the nature of the legal profession. So, be honest to yourself. Third is, I'm being facetious in saying this, but, try not to be corrupt. That's extremely important. I don't think anyone will ever tell you that. But I think that's extremely important, because you have to face yourself. If not anyone else, who cares for anyone else? It's very easy, and it's very difficult. You don't know, as when you get into the profession, now it all seems very rosy. You're in law school, your parents take care of, or the school, or whoever, if you're on scholarship, the university takes care of all your money and all your expenses. But when you go out in the wide world, when you have to pay for your everyday expenditure, it's difficult. Sometimes we are all individual professionals. So you come under great amount of pressure and peer pressure. People around you will tell you, suppress this document, create another document. So it's up to you. It's huge amount of peer pressure, and it's not small. It can be very, very huge. So, you have to stand up to that as to the best as possible. I don't think it's perfectly possible. We don't live in a perfect world. We all make our individual choices based on circumstances. But you have to the change starts with you. If you don't stand up, no one else will. Do believe your work and don't take yourself seriously. The problem with us lawyers is we take ourselves too seriously. Believe your work. Take your work very seriously. Don't take yourselves too seriously. And last, have empathy. And you know what empathy means? There are people around you. You don't have to change the world, but you can just have a good fellow feeling for people around you. For you other lawyers in the profession, for your clients, for the poor people who come to you and who can't pay enough for the brief. I'm not asking you to change the world, and I told you, I'm very skeptical of those who say they want to change the world. I don't want to, but I just want to have empathy. As a normal human being, as a person who exists in society, we should all have empathy. Lastly, I think nowadays, too many lawyers, and this is something, again, bears repetition, wants to be too many things. They want to be an NGO, you want to be a person who, be a person who runs an LPO, and so many other things. I think it's very, very important that we are lawyers, and good lawyers. And in conclusion, I think, how do I sort of fit myself in all this? I fit myself as, in relation to my journey. I come from a first-generation lawyer family. I've never had a lawyer. I've had extended family, I have had some lawyers, but no one directly in my family. I've started off from scratch at two places. I've started off from scratch in Kolkata, where I practiced for 6 years, and I started off in Supreme Court for now 12 years. The one above, if you believe in that, and I do deeply believe in that, has been very kind. Of course, there is a price. The price everybody has to pay, and never let people, and I tell my junior colleagues that, never let people tell you that there is no price. There is a price. There is a price for hard work. There is a price which people won't tell you, is the price which it will have on your near and dear ones. Because the price of really hard work is being involved in the work and not being involved in other things in life. That's the price of being a lawyer, which no one will tell you, because it's all wonderfully glamorous, and they all see that really 5 minutes which you have in court. But no one looks at the 3 hours which you've spent working on every line of the brief to prepare for questions which will possibly never be asked on the ground that they may come. Now, in the end, what do I like about the law? What do I like about the law is my junior colleague mentioned to me in the car, he said, sir, you should quote your favorite line, and I'll quote it to you. It's a line from a movie called Philadelphia. I don't know how many of you have seen the movie Philadelphia. That's a movie by Tom Hanks. And Tom Hanks is this lawyer from a very big law firm, very successful lawyer who gets HIV and therefore gets thrown out of his firm. And then, so basically he sues his firm. And there is a famous cross-examination scene where Denzel Washington, who's his lawyer, cross-examines him and asks him, what do you like about the law? So he says a brilliant thing, which I always found brilliant. He says, what I like about the law is that sometimes, not all the time, you can be a part of justice being done. And that is the most beautiful feeling that one can have. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Our next speaker for the session is Shri Sunil Ambekar ji. Shri Sunil ji is an educationist and veteran student activist. He hails from Nagpur, Maharashtra. He has done his MSc in zoology with a specialization in cytology. He is associated with Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad since his college days at Institute of Science, Nagpur. He is currently serving as National Organizing Secretary of ABVP. Sir led the organization during the agitation against Bangladeshi infiltration and most recently against the corruption. He was also advisory member to the Youth Against Corruption movement. Sir has played an exemplary role in inspiring Think India. I would now request Sir to please address the gathering. Sir has also authored a recent book, you might have heard about it, the RSS, Roadmap for 21st Century.
माननीय जस्टिस नरसिंह रेड्डी जी, हमारे मित्र और बहुत प्रख्यात वकील है और अभी भारत सरकार में एडिशनल सॉलिसिटर जनरल विक्रमजीत बैनर्जी, रवि मिश्रा जी जो यहाँ NMML के डिप्टी डायरेक्टर हैं और काफ़ी अच्छा अध्ययन है उनका, और हमारे यंग फ्रेंड शौर्य और उपस्थित सभी, सबको नमस्ते, सबका स्वागत है। और अब आप लोग लॉयर्स मतलब लीगल फ्रेटर्निटी में एक जा रहे हैं, शायद बहुत लोगों ने हाफ वे कर लिया होगा और बहुत जल्दी आप लोग देश के अलग अलग कोर्ट्स में, हाई कोर्ट्स में, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में या और भी बहुत सारी आजकल नई अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ और प्रैक्टिसेस है, कॉरपोरेट प्रैक्टिस है, टैक्स है और भी बहुत सारे इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट से लेकर ह्यूमन राइट्स, मतलब जितने नए कानून बन रहे हैं उसके जैसे आजकल डॉक्टर्स में होता है कि वो फिर न्यूरो सर्जन है, फिर वो कार्डियक है, फिर कार्डियक में भी स्पेशलाइजेशन होता है, फिर और भी बहुत सारी डिटेल्स है उसके, मतलब जितने शरीर में अंग है और उसके जितने कॉम्बिनेशन बनाए जा सकते हैं उतने डॉक्टर्स आजकल अपॉर्चुनिटीज है डॉक्टर्स के लिए। वैसे मुझे लगता है कि जितने भी नए कानून बनते हैं देश में, दुनिया में, और उसके फिर जैसे आजकल इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी है तो एक कानून नहीं, एक और 2-4 कानून मिला के जो नए कॉम्बिनेशंस बनते हैं तो उसके नए नए स्पेशलाइजेशंस भी आ रहे हैं और बहुत सारी नई अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी आपके लिए खुल रही है। तो मुझे लगता है कि एक समय था कि लॉयर मीन्स लॉयर, तो क्या करते हो, तो लॉयर मतलब जो केसेस आएगी वो सिविल है या क्रिमिनल है, बस बाद में दो डिवीजन होने लगे कि आप सिविल की प्रैक्टिस करते हैं या क्रिमिनल साइड की हैं। लेकिन अब मुझे लगता है कि अपॉर्चुनिटी भी ज़्यादा है और चैलेंज भी ज़्यादा है। लेकिन जैसे सभी जगहों पर हुआ कि बहुत सारा डिवीजन होता चला गया, स्पेशलाइजेशन, सुपर स्पेशलाइजेशन और ज़्यादा। कई लॉयर्स जो टैक्स की प्रैक्टिस करते हैं कोर्ट में जाना ही नहीं पड़ता है, वो टैक्स की प्रैक्टिस ऑफिस में ही ज़्यादा करते हैं, ऐसे भी लोग हैं। लेकिन अब मुझे लगता है कि फिर से ज़माना चेंज हो रहा है। अब आपको आपका समय आते आते हैं, इन योर जनरेशन you will have to look after, or you have to be a part of both. You should know your specialization, and you simultaneously you have to be an expert and better knowledge about the all disciplines in the law, because the cases will be always dealt with the interdisciplinary knowledge and interpretations. तो मुझे लगता है कि एक अच्छा चैलेंज भी आ रहा है आप लोगों के लिए कि बहुत सारी चीज़ें एक साथ होगी। अभी भारत में तो इंटरनेशनल लॉ और ट्रेड लॉज की भी प्रैक्टिस बहुत बढ़ रही है, क्योंकि अगर हम लोग फ्यूचरिस्टिक देखते हैं तो बहुत सारा हमारा इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड अब आने वाले समय में बढ़ेगा, नंबर ऑफ कंट्रीज भी बढ़ेगी और टाइप ऑफ कमोडिटीज भी बढ़ेगी, टाइप ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन भी बढ़ेंगे, बहुत सारे। केवल सिंगल लॉ से नहीं चलेगा कि कंट्री टू कंट्री बायलैटरल रिलेशनशिप की ट्रीटीज भी बहुत सारी होगी। और अब मेक इन इंडिया चल रहा है तो बहुत सारी कंपनीज भी यहां पर काम करेगी, इन्वेस्टमेंट के भी बहुत सारे स्ट्रक्चर्स होंगे, फिर जो उनके एम्प्लॉयज होंगे उनके भी स्ट्रक्चर्स बहुत अलग अलग तरीके के होंगे। तो मुझे लगता है कि अच्छा भी है, लेकिन एक चैलेंज भी है कि बहुत सारी एक मल्टीपल नॉलेज आपके लिए रखना बहुत जरूरी होगा। और निश्चित रूप से आप लोगों के लिए लॉ पढ़ते समय एक टिपिकल टेक्स्ट बुक पढ़कर आप लॉयर शायद एग्जामिनेशन पास भी कर लेंगे, बट यू कांट बी अ गुड प्रैक्टिसिंग लॉयर विदाउट हैविंग दिस टाइप ऑफ मल्टीफेज नॉलेज। तो मुझे लगता है कि निश्चित रूप से आज थिंक इंडिया ने जो भी कार्यक्रम आयोजित किया है लॉ समिट, और लगातार जब से ये इनिशिएटिव शुरू से ही मैं इससे देख रहा हूं, और लगातार मैंने देखा है कि एक बहुत अच्छे तरीके से कई सारे इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम, जैसे आज शौर्य पूरे बता रहे थे, तो कई बार उसमें पार्टिसिपेंट से इंटरेक्ट करने का मुझे भी मौका मिला। तो अच्छा है, बहुत सारा इंथुजियाज्म है, आप लोग भी यहाँ पर आए, और बहुत सारे और भी नए प्रोग्राम्स मुझे लगता है कि आने वाले समय में होंगे। सो I will appreciate the initiatives by Think India, Shaurya, and Rahul. I think today he is not here, Rahul Chaudhary, but all these people, they have done very good job. I appreciate them many times. देखिए, अभी हमारे देश में अब हम लोग 21st सेंचुरी में है, और पूरे देश में, दुनिया में भारत के बारे में चर्चा हो रहा है। नो डिस्कशन अबाउट एनीथिंग, इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स, हेल्थ, एनवायरमेंट, टेररिज्म, वॉट एवर डिस्कशन गोज ऑन एट द ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म, इट कैनॉट बी कंक्लूडेड विदाउट डिस्कसिंग अबाउट भारत, अबाउट आवर सिचुएशन, आवर पार्टिसिपेशन। सो यू आर अ लकी जनरेशन. In your time, our country is placed at much higher position. और ये मुझे लगता है कि हम हर एक के लिए गर्व की बात है कि जब हमारे देश का नाम ऐसे ऊंचाइयों पर पहुंचते हुए हम अनुभव करते हैं तो निश्चित रूप से हमारे मन में बहुत अच्छा एक आनंद होता है। यह बात समझना भी बहुत जरूरी है सबके लिए। निश्चित रूप से हम अपने एफर्ट्स हमारे होते ही हैं, हमारे माँ बाप हमें सहयोग करते हैं, हमारा फैमिली, हमारा एजुकेशन, हमारा मेहनत बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होता है। लेकिन सब कुछ केवल हमसे नहीं बनता है। बहुत लोगों ने इस देश को बनाने में आज जिस कंफर्ट को हम लोग एंजॉय कर रहे हैं उसको यहां तक लाने में बहुत लोगों ने योगदान दिया है। बहुत लोगों ने जैसे बता रहे थे कि लॉयर्स में हमारा पूरा फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल अगर देखेंगे तो लॉयर्स और चाहते तो शायद वो बहुत बड़ी बड़ी प्रैक्टिस कर सकते थे, लेकिन उन्होंने अपने लाइफ में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट रखा देश और देश के लोग। यही कारण था कि वो आजादी के आंदोलन में आए और उन्होंने अपने पास जो टैलेंट थी उसका देश के लिए, देश के आम लोगों के लिए उपयोग किया। कई लोग जेल में गए, कई लोगों को इससे देश से निकल जाना पड़ा, कई लोग फांसी पे लटकाए गए, बहुत सारी कहानी है। और मुझे लगता है कि हर स्टूडेंट के लिए वो पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है, समझना बहुत जरूरी है। ये बात सही है कि हम लोगों को केवल अलेक्जेंडर और नेपोलियन के बारे में बताया गया हमारी किताबों में, ज्यादातर हमारे देश के दूर लोगों ने जो कंट्रीब्यूट किया उसके बारे में हम लोगों को कम पढ़ाया गया। लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि यू आर इंटरनेट जनरेशन, बहुत सारी जानकारियां बहुत सारे लोगों ने उपलब्ध कराई है। आप लोगों को अपने तरीके से जानना बहुत जरूरी है। डोंट बी ओनली बुकिश। देश को जानना इसलिए जरूरी होता है कि देश को जाने बगैर हम उसका फ्यूचर प्लान नहीं बना सकते। कई लोग मुझे पूछते हैं कि 21वीं सेंचुरी में इतने पास्ट के बारे में चर्चा करने की क्या जरूरत है? यू आर लॉयर्स। आपके कोई भी केस के बारे में सबसे पहले हिस्ट्री बहुत जरूरी होती है, उसके लॉजिक समझने के लिए और उसके ऊपर आर्गुमेंट बनाने के लिए। तभी आप जस्टिफाइड कर सकते हैं, तभी आप न्याय दे सकते हैं, तभी आप आर्गुमेंट डेवलप कर सकते हैं। और ये तो बात देश की है। और केस जैसे होता है कि केस किसी ने कितना भी ब्रीफ किया होगा, यू लुक इनटू द केस एंड केस पेपर्स पर्सनली। तो मुझे लगता है कि हमारे देश के साथ भी ये हुआ कि बहुत सारे लोगों ने अपने कॉलोनियल पीरियड में अपने तरीके से और बाद में कॉलोनियल हैंगओवर में बहुत सारी उल्टी सीधी बातें लिखी है। और इसलिए और ऐसे बहुत सारे मामले आने वाले समय में कोर्ट में भी आने वाले हैं। तो मैं चाहूंगा कि आज इस जनरेशन के लोग अपने देश को हम अपने तरीके से समझें, क्योंकि जिनका देश से लगाव था उन्होंने देश के लिए काम किया, उन्होंने देश को बनाया, उसको समझना बहुत जरूरी है। एंड इट मस्ट बी अ कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव। क्योंकि हमारे देश में जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जब बन रहा था तो हम लोग जनरली बोलते कि वी मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड एनी डॉक्यूमेंट विथ लेटर एंड स्पिरिट। तो मुझे लगता है कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड ओनली द लेटर्स, इट विल नॉट बी सफिशिएंट। जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के मेकर्स थे उन्होंने क्या सोचा, वो क्या सोचते थे, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। और मुझे लगता है कि एटलीस्ट आप जैसे लोगों के लिए वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डिबेट्स बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। क्या चर्चा हुई, कितने प्रकार के विचार आए, कितनी बातें उठाई गई, किन मुद्दों को लिया गया, किन मुद्दों को छोड़ा गया, क्यों लिया गया, क्यों छोड़ा गया, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है ये समझना। हर जनरेशन को यह समझना बहुत जरूरी है। और इसलिए हमारे देश में जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैल्यूज है हमारी, कभी कभी लोग सोचते हैं कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैल्यूज जो है वो हम लोगों ने कहां से ली, तो कोई सोचते कि फ्रेंच से ले ली हमने, कि वहां से उन्होंने फ्रेटर्निटी कह दिया, इक्वेलिटी कह दिया। शायद उनके लिए ये शब्द नए नए शब्द थे जो उनकी क्रांति से या उनके जो पॉलिटिकल चेंजओवर्स थे उससे आए थे। लेकिन ये शब्द हमारे लिए नए नहीं थे, ये शब्द हमारे यहां थाउजेंड्स ऑफ ईयर प्रैक्टिस में थे। द फेयर गवर्नमेंट्स, द फेयर किंग्स, ये हम लोगों के देश में थाउजेंड्स ऑफ ईयर्स का प्रैक्टिस था। और मुझे लगता है कि आउट ऑफ दैट हम लोगों को एक बहुत ही सहज तरीके से हमने अपने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को जब बनाया तो हमने उस स्पिरिट को, उस कल्चर को, डेमोक्रेटिक कल्चर को हम लोगों ने लिया है। ठीक है, उसके सेटअप्स के बारे में हो सकता है हम लोगों ने मॉडर्न सेटअप्स को लेते समय और भी दुनिया भर के सेटअप्स जो है उसका स्टडीज किया, एंड डेफिनेटली वी हैव ड्रॉन some setup for these days. But the basic principles of our constitution, they are not drawn from anybody. Definitely, they must be practiced in some other parts also, no problem. लेकिन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो हमारा बना वो अपने ट्रेडिशन से बना है कि हम एक बाय स्पिरिट हम लोग डेमोक्रेटिक लोग हैं, बाय स्पिरिट हम एक इंक्लूसिव लोग हैं, बाय स्पिरिट हम एक इक्वालिटी प्रैक्टिस करने वाले लोग हैं, बाय स्पिरिट हम ह्यूमन राइट्स को रिस्पेक्ट करने वाले लोग हैं। अब आज के समय में कुछ वेरिएशंस सम 100-500 ईयर्स में हमारे यहां भी आए, डेफिनेटली आए, बट एट लार्ज we were already practicing those principles in our day-to-day life. इस बात का मुझे लगता है इस एंगल से हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन और हमारे प्रोविजंस को समझना बहुत जरूरी है। इस एंगल से जब हम समझेंगे, उसके उस बैकग्राउंड से समझेंगे, तब आने वाले समय में क्योंकि देखिए बहुत सारे इंटरप्रिटेशंस है कोर्ट्स के, लॉयर्स के इंटरप्रिटेशन है, क्योंकि लॉ तो बहुत संक्षिप्त में लिखा गया है। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में एक बात 2 लाइन में लिखी गई है, लेकिन बाद में जो जितने सारे इंटरप्रिटेशंस हुए हैं वो इंटरप्रिटेशंस या तो लॉयर्स ने किए या कोर्ट्स ने जब भी किए हैं वो उनकी इस विषय की समझ के अनुसार हुए हैं, और इसलिए उसमें अभी भी स्कोप है कि हम अपनी समझ, अपनी वी मस्ट by growing and by widening our understanding about all this, we can every time we can reinterpret everything, and that is the democratic spirit that we are open for the debates. मुझे लगता है कि आज देश को ऐसे बहुत सारे लोगों की जरूरत है। हमारे देश में ये बहुत, हम लोग तो बहुत ज्यादा एक्सट्रीम तक प्रैक्टिस करते हैं कि हमारे देश के सबसे बड़े गुनहगार कसाब के लिए भी रात को 2:30 बजे हम कोर्ट खुलते हैं और वकील भी जाते हैं, और बहुत सारी चीजें हमारे देश में होती हैं। सही था गलत था उस पर और भी डिबेट हो सकती है, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि हमारे देश में कुछ लोग मिस इंटरप्रेट भी कर रहे हैं फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन को, हमारे डेमोक्रेटिक चीजों को। आज का ये समय है कि जिन लोगों ने इसके लिए मेहनत की और जिन लोगों जिसका जो हमारा स्पिरिट है उसको सही तरीके से लीगल फ्रैटर्निटी में लोग समझे और पूरी पब्लिक को उसका एक अवेयरनेस हो, ये मुझे लगता है आज के समय में बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, क्योंकि आपका फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन है बट साइमल्टेनियसली बाकी लोगों का भी तो फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन है, बाकी लोगों का भी स्पेस है, और इसलिए वी द पीपल मीन्स हु द पीपल, ये अंडरस्टैंड करना बहुत जरूरी है। कुछ लोग वी द पीपल में से निकलकर आई द पीपल करके बोलना चाहते हैं और अपनी डेफिनेशंस लगाना चाहते हैं। मुझे लगता है कि आप लोग जैसे जो स्टूडेंट्स है लॉ के, उनकी बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है केवल अपनी पढ़ाई के साथ, मुझे लगता है आप लोग इस बात पर बोले, लिखे, अवेयरनेस पैदा करें, ये आप लोगों का एक बहुत बड़ा एक इम्पोर्टेंट टास्क हो सकता है। मैं आप लोगों को कहूंगा, आज बहुत सारे विषय जब आते हैं, जैसे आज एनआरसी के बारे में देश में चर्चा हो रही है, नेशनल रजिस्टर ऑफ सिटीजन्स, बहुत सारे बिल आए, आर्टिकल 370 जैसे इंपॉर्टेंट एक इश्यू पर देश में बहस हुई है। तो मुझे लगता है कि ऐसे बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इश्यूज है, और एक हिस्टोरिकल केस राम मंदिर पर डे टू डे हियरिंग हो रहा है। ऐसे जितने भी मुझे लगता है कि केसेस आ रहे हैं, ये नेशनल लाइफ में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट केसेस हैं, और ये केवल प्रेजेंट नहीं, फ्यूचर की बहुत बातें, सारी बातों में इसका लॉन्ग टर्म इंपैक्ट होने वाला है। तो मुझे लगता है कि इन सब बातों का एक बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग हम खुद करें, और एक पब्लिक में, और खासकर आपके स्टूडेंट फ्रेटर्निटी में इसको प्रस्तुत करने के लिए आप लोगों को इनिशिएटिव लेना चाहिए। जैसे मुझे लगता है कि थिंक इंडिया की ओर से जो आई थिंक हिस्टोरिकल नहीं, व्हाट यू से, इंपॉर्टेंट केसेस के, हाँ, लैंडमार्क केसेस के बारे में आप लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा किया भी है। तो मुझे लगता है ये लैंडमार्क केसेस का जो प्रोग्राम दिल्ली में होता है, यू कैन कंडक्ट सेम टाइप ऑफ प्रोग्राम इन योर कैंपसेस फॉर अदर्स एंड फॉर अदर जनरल पीपल ऑल्सो। ये बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जिसके बारे में जितना हम लोग सोचेंगे उतना बहुत सारी चीजें करने लायक है। और मैं यही कहूंगा कि आज के समय में एक अच्छे तरीके से 3 बातें मुझे लगता है कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं। एक, लोग सोचते हैं कि हम देश के लिए क्या कर सकते हैं, तो देश के लिए आपको कुछ करने के लिए आपको, आप जहां हैं वहां से जगह छोड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है। whatever position you have, in whatever profession you have, you can start from there, you can work from there. क्योंकि बहुत सारे काम देश में होने हैं, आप जहां खड़े हैं, जहां आप हैं, जिस पोजीशन में हैं, वहां से आप अपने आसपास में बहुत अच्छे अच्छे काम कर सकते हैं, और वही मुझे लगता है कि देश के लिए एक अच्छा योगदान हो सकता है। दूसरा, मुझे लगता है कि हम लोगों को अपने देश के 130 करोड़ लोगों की जो बातें हैं उसको समझना बहुत जरूरी है। इसलिए केवल कागज से आप लोग इंटरप्रेट मत करिए, तो जो भी सोसाइटी है उसको देखना बहुत जरूरी है। इसलिए गांव में जाइए, जनजाति क्षेत्र में जाइए, झुग्गी झोपड़ी में जाइए, लोगों से मिलिए, डिफरेंट वॉक्स ऑफ पीपल, उनसे मिलिए, तो आपके एक सेल्फ इंटर्नशिप ये भी है। आप किसी लॉ फर्म में जा रहे, वेरी गुड, आप कोई लाइब्रेरी में जाके पढ़ रहे, वेरी गुड, बहुत अच्छा है, करना ही पड़ेगा। लेकिन इक्वली ये भी एक लर्निंग प्रोसेस है, एंड इट विल क्रिएट अ कंसर्न फॉर द पीपल। मुझे लगता है कि हमारे देश में डॉक्टर्स की, लॉयर्स की कोई प्रकार की टैलेंट की कमी नहीं है, दुनिया भी इसको मान रही है। हमारे पास एक चीज की कमी है कि हमें ज्यादा लोग चाहिए कि जो अपनी पावर का, अपनी टैलेंट का, अपने नॉलेज का उपयोग केवल अपने लिए नहीं तो अपने लोगों के लिए, समाज के लिए, देश के लिए करेंगे। मेन, दैट इज द क्रक्स ऑफ मैटर। अगर हमारे देश में करप्शन है तो उसका मेन पॉइंट वही है। तो मुझे लगता है कि आज इस दृष्टि से एक हम अपने देश को जाने तो फिर हम लोग बहुत सारी बातें कर सकते हैं। तो ये मुझे लगता है कि दैट इज द सोल पर्पज ऑफ थिंक इंडिया, कि आप देश के बारे में, लोगों के बारे में सोचें। तो मैं मानता हूं कि आज आपको यहाँ आप लोग आए हैं, आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई, और थिंक इंडिया को भी मैं और सभी आयोजक सबको बहुत बधाई देता हूं। और निश्चित रूप से आप जब भी कुछ करना चाहते हैं, जब भी आपको लगे, तो निश्चित रूप से आपको लगे कि मैं क्या और कैसे कर सकता हूं, तो हम लोग हैं। आप जो भी करना, इफ यू हैव अ आइडिया, वी हैव अ ग्रुप। इफ यू हैव अ ग्रुप, कि हम लोग कुछ करने के लिए हमारा ग्रुप है, व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, वी हैव अ आइडिया। So don't worry, this combination will work, and we can build the great nation, the very great nation which can be not only helpful to our people but to the whole world. Namaste, Bharat Mata ki jai.
Thank you so much, Sunil ji. our last speaker of the session and our chief guest, Honorable Justice Narasimha Reddy sir. Justice Narasimha Reddy sir is presently the chairman of Central Administrative Tribunal, and he has completed his graduation and thereafter his post-graduation in international law from Osmania University, Hyderabad. He had an exemplary career as a practicing lawyer in the High Court of Andhra Pradesh from the year 1979 to 2001. In 2001, he was elevated as a judge of Andhra Pradesh High Court, and subsequently in 2015, he was appointed as Chief Justice of Patna High Court. In the year 2018, he was appointed as Chairman of Central Administrative Tribunal by the President of India. I now request sir to please address the gathering.
Shri Sunil Ambekar ji, Shri Vikramjit Banerjee ji, Additional Solicitor General of India, Ravi K. Mishra ji, Shaurya Rai, distinguished students from various schools of law, very good, pleasant good morning to all of you. At the outset, I congratulate the Think India as well as the participants for organizing this law summit with the participation of the students from reputed institutions. Shri Vikramjit ji has covered some professional aspects of law, and Shri Ambekar ji has covered the social aspect. My burden is somewhat lessened, and I can feel a bit relieved of my obligation to impress on you. What is more gratifying over the past one and a half decades is that the field of law, and in particular the national law schools, attracted the best of talent from the youth. Earlier, the pursuit of studies in law used to be almost a last resort, including for me. But with all seriousness, if one has chosen the field of law, it is only through, in the recent past, through the national law schools, and all of you are the excellent products of that. And the sample for that is very much available on the dais. The first additional solicitor general from a national law school. The summit has identified for itself the topics of immediate relevance and national and international importance. The participants would certainly be benefited out of it. Now, what can be the underlying idea for so many people who have gathered here? We can identify some ideas pertaining to the legal profession. For that purpose, we can take into account our past experience and needs of the future, even while recognizing the present trends. As our earlier speakers have observed, the field of law is expanding with each passing day. The governance, to a certain extent, is getting limited, and in greater proportion, the social activity and the activity in general in various fields is increasing. Naturally, that needs to be regulated, and for that purpose, laws are to be made and they have to be implemented. It is there the role of lawyers increases. What used to be a just conventional field of activity such as defending a civil case or a criminal case, has undergone a lot of change. Today, commercial law, then corporate law, so many other fields are emerging, and there is a lot of scope for all of the law students to get involved. My sincere advice to all of you is don't aim at becoming law clerks. Maybe incidental, even if you choose for some time, don't get stuck there, and there is a lot of potential for all of you in going further independently. You can be part of the enforcing agency, you can become part of the even law-making process also. The role played by lawyers in India, or for that matter in any country, is indeed phenomenal. If you take into account the history of freedom struggle in India, you will find about 7 to 8 of every 10 prominent personalities were from the field of law. What made the difference is not that the others do not have the importance and prominence. What keeps the lawyers as a class apart is that their understanding of the society, their analysis of the problems, and at the same time, being able to provide some solutions to that. That equipment the lawyers have plenty, and what is needed is a setup of mind. As Sunilji has said, that even while being professional, you can have a social perspective so that you can provide proper solution to the various issues. Now, India has now reached a stage where its development and activities are not confined to the borders of the country alone. Our people are excelling in every field outside the country, and today they are bringing very good name to our nation also. Compared to other fields, such as doctors and engineers, our percolation into other countries from the field of law is somewhat limited. You can even explore that possibility also. Once you are equipped with the basic tenets of law, slight change will suit the thing into any country's legal system. Now, to be able to lead the society, the lawyers are required to be a bit impartial and not stuck to any particular idea. It is only then that you can provide a good solution to it. Blindly enforcing a law which holds good for other country in another nation may not yield the same results. Take, for instance, the environmental law. We come across so many legislations at international level, conventions and all that. Some are made keeping in view the highly polluting countries where a person cannot afford to be without air conditioning, or their habits are such that there is a vast destruction of nature, and they, to rebuild or to recompensate the destruction, the extreme steps are taken. In contrast, in India, the lifestyle is totally different. We have the habit of respecting nature, respecting environment, animals, everything around us. If you enforce that, it may not be that congenial to get the result. Same is the case with the family laws. Some of our people, particularly NGOs, they pounce upon everything and brand every practice. This can add to your perspective and make you stand differently and in the advantageous condition also. What I intend to impress upon you is that there is something which we have not been paying attention. That is the contribution of our country to the field of law. We start every law student and every institution of law starts on the premise that the law making was has started only with the British regime, and earlier to that, hardly there was anything called law, and everything was in a chaotic condition. This needs to be studied a bit in a deeper sense. Did not we have anything to boast in the field of law? Same thing as till recently, whenever our people started thinking about yoga, the same reaction used to come. India has not much to offer. Yoga is something which is done by some Swamijis or some persons without much of work and all that. Today, whole world has recognized it, and they are telling us about the benefits and uses of yoga. Similarly, in the various other fields, I will only give one example. In the field of medicine, we always think that the general thinking is that allopathy is the best form of medicine. There is no doubt about it also, even if one takes into account the popularity which it has gained. Now, what is contribution of India into the field of medicine? One book which is universally accepted for any allopathic studies is the Anatomy by Gray. Gray's Anatomy is universal in every country. The anatomy is the standard textbook on anatomy is Gray's. If you take the chapter on plastic surgery, Gray was so honest to say that the first plastic surgery was conducted by Shushruta in India. He acknowledged that. In those days, the punishment for any thief or for a serious crime was the chopping of nose. Now, if nose is cut, the nostrils are exposed to atmosphere and he will be vulnerable to so many diseases. After punishment, what should be the fate of the man? So, our in those Vaidyas, what they have done is, they used to take two tubes of the castor leaf have a long stalk. After it dries, it will be a small tube. So, two tubes are kept at the place where the nose was there, and the skin from the neighborhood is put on that, thereby an artificial nose is built. So that was referred to in the internationally famous anatomy book, and they have paid tributes to it. But in other fields also there is equal, if not greater contribution. But unfortunately, we are not either informed of about or exposed to it. Coming to the field of law, you are at various stages of studying law. You may have, by this time, some of you may have covered CPC, CRPC, which are the standard patterns to know the basics of law. Now, what is judgment? Did you come across the definition of a judgment? To my knowledge, there is no precise definition of judgment either in CPC or CRPC anywhere. At the most, they will say when judgment is to be rendered, and if so, what should be the pattern of it generally, and what should be the form of it. Beyond that, we don't know the details of it. But take a deeper peep into our history, our legal history. 5,000 years ago, this Vyasa Smriti, there is Pachandali Smriti, Vyasa Smriti, Katyayana Smriti. If one has interest, there are a lot of things about it. There is a clear definition of judgment in that. It says, sorry. Oh. It says, Purvottare Kriyapadam, Pramanam tat parikshanam, Nigadam smritivakyam cha, Yadasabhya vinischitam, Jayapatram vido viduhu. The precise form is, what should a judgment contain? Purvottare. Purva is the version of a plaintiff or a petitioner. Uttare is its written statement or memorial. Kriyapadam, identification of the issues in it. Then Nigadam, provisions of law. Smriti Vakya, Nigadam is argument, Smriti Vakyancha is provisions of law, Yada Sabhya Vinichitam, opinion of the judges and royal seal, that is the judgment. You cannot substitute even a single aspect of it with another. This being the state of affairs, we are not, suppose if we know that we had a system wherein everything was defined precisely, our feeling will be somewhat different. For example, one friend of yours brings a shirt or some other apparel from United States for you. On that, you find a label that it is made in India. You will at once feel great that our country produced this, it has gone to United States and it has got that acceptability. In contrast, if an ordinary thing which is otherwise available in India, somebody brings with which is made in some South Korean, or we get every small thing from China. Even from a safety pin, if it is from China, what a sad state of affairs. At once you will feel that feeling, get that feeling. Therefore, my request is kindly have some perspective into our own. All of you need not have it, but those of you who can have a little departure and specialization in that can undertake in these days of this internet and all those the social media, any attempt in this, a healthy attempt, not a negative thing, will be of great service to you as well as to the nation. Coming to the legal profession, I do not intend to delve much into it, but this much I can say, it is a very, very typical and a complicated one. You have to take credit or the blame for your success or failure. Here, there are certain basic tenets. Never begin the profession with a hope that at once your earnings are going to be much or to a higher side. It is said, of course, these things have changed now. Earlier it used to be for the first 5 years, a lawyer will do very great hard work but no income. Next 5 years, he will do work, he does work, but equally gets money. And third 5 years, he does not do work and gets only money. That was the saying. Slight changes, it may be there, but once you start the profession, you may not get immediately expected income, but as and how you progress with your hard work, with your dedication, money will not be a problem. For your information, let me bring to your notice, lawyers, at least senior advocates' gown, you will see a pouch here. Even earlier, it used to be there for advocates, all advocates also. Behind the gown, there is a pouch. The principle was that if you argue a case for a client, depending upon his satisfaction about your performance and his capacity, he will put the money in that pouch. You will not know what he is putting and you will take it only thereafter. That used to be the nobility of the profession. Of course, one need not be averse to getting money, but don't put the money alone before you, that will smudge your thinking process also. If hard work is there, money automatically pours in. Another thing is, in the profession, you are faced with so many complexities. First from your adversary, second from the court, and third from many other surrounding circumstances. It is said, as a client, the advocate has 3 important components. One is client, the court, and the opponent. A famous saying is that better lose a case, but not your client. That should be the relationship which you should maintain with a client. Better lose a case, but not your client. But if it comes to that, better lose a client than a court. For the sake of your client, don't fight and quarrel with the court. Always keep good relation with the court, that will pay you. For the sake of the client or case, don't quarrel with. Last is, when it comes to keeping of your self-respect, better keep your self-respect than the court. You may afford to lose the court also, but for a lawyer, self-respect is the highest thing which he should protect. That is how the lawyers get their famous name or their status. If he is pliable, then he falls into that category. Now, there are many instances, sometimes clients may provoke, sometimes it may occur to them also to go for shortcuts. Shortcuts in the professions are many, and day in and day out we come across so many instances as to how the proceedings in the courts have been tainted or there has been miscarriage of justice. I am only reminded of an interaction at a time when I was a student of law. Dattopant Thengdi ji, he was the founder of BMS and a prominent personality. He was interacting with us law students like this, not in this large number. He said, never go for shortcuts. And he gave an example. Mughalsarai has one of the longest railway yards, not platform. It runs into kilometers together. There will be many lines, trains will go on both directions. But there is only one, this foot over bridge to cross. So, on finding that the bridge is a bit far away, people tend to cross the line on the floor itself. The saying on the bridge is, do not go for shortcuts, you will be cut short. So it is a matter of time. For anybody who goes for shortcuts, he is bound to be cut short. But one who maintains the truthful process, honesty, he is bound to get the reward for it. There again, it is a matter of time. Truthfulness need not be only truthfulness and honesty. It need not be at the level of being a judge alone. Even a lawyer is required to be truthful and honest, and that in turn will translate into reality when he becomes the judicial officer. There will not be any, many of you are going to become judges at various places, at various levels. Unless the quality of honesty and truthfulness is nurtured from the beginning, you cannot get it overnight when you are appointed. Therefore, my dear friends, I wish you best of luck. You have got very bright future. Kindly take some interest in the developments that are taking place in the nation. You have got a very important role to play in the nation building, even while developing your career. Wish you best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to inform you all about the mementos by which we are felicitating our guest. I have to inform the student, what are these? These are the glimpses of our original constitution. Each sketch represents different part of our major event of our history of our nation. And the history which is depicted from Ramayana, Mahabharata to the first war of our independence. And this is significant because our constitutional makers wanted to convey us that our nation, our great nation, did not came in existence only in 1947. It is much older. And we decided it to inculcate this in our event because let us not forget, we might grow our wings and soar high in the sky, but we shall never forget